Kante?
He's a while. He'll be end of Feb, start of March.
You're coming up to your first transfer window as the Chelsea manager. Christopher Vivell is on board now as the technical director. Your reaction to that appointment, and what does he need to do for you in the coming transfer window, do you think?
Our reaction is positive. I've met him a few times and I have a really good feeling. I think he's going to be a real asset to the football club. I think his role is to connect the football club in terms of the different departments, and my normal relationship with technical directors is a supportive one. We're trying to help each other, so that's how we're going to work. I'm looking forward to that journey together.
Just a couple more, Graham. Mendy's contract has been in the paper the last day or two. There's been a suggestion that he won't sign because he's not happy with the terms on offer. Can you clarify that, and how happy is Mendy at Chelsea right now?
Well, it's not my place, I don't think, to speak publicly about players' contract situation. I think that's between them and the club. Mendy's been absolutely top with us, with me. Great guy, happy around the place, but in terms of his contract, it's not for me to comment on.
Sure. And just finally from me, after 3 straight defeats before the break, I mean, how badly do you need a win starting at Bournemouth?
Well, it's always nice to win, that's for sure. So we know the situation. We know how important it is. We want to try our best.
Thank you. Good luck. Happy Christmas.
Thank you, and you.
Hi, Graham. How are you?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Good, thank you. Just picking up on those 3 league defeats before the break. Considering that, how beneficial was the break, and do you see the squad in a better place now?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to go through moments. Everyone, if you're honest, you say, well, we were suffering a little bit before the break in terms of the results weren't what we wanted. Performances weren't so good either. So sometimes as a team, as a club, you have to, you go through these periods. We were through one there, and there's I could offer lots of explanations as to why, but you just have to accept that sometimes they happen, and you have to get through them, and then a break can help, of course, whether it's an international break, whether it's a different fixture in terms of a different competition. But we had the break. Obviously, the guys that went away at the World Cup, that gets cleared away, and everyone can come back and reset. And obviously, all the learning that's happened in that really intense period, you can consolidate and say, okay, how do we go forward? And that's been beneficial.
Gary O'Neill speaks very highly of you. What have you made of the job he's done at Bournemouth in a short space of time?
No, it's there. You can see. I mean, results-wise, a significant improvement, and I would say performance as well is strong. I think he's been able to put his ideas onto the team. They're very clear. I like how they play. They build up. They can use the longer balls to the forward, but they don't just do that as well. They play through the back, defensively sound as well. So he's done a really good job.
Nick.
Hi.
On Kante's situation with his injury, is it the timescale still what was expected?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a surgery, so it's a minimum period of 4 months, pretty much.
The longer, the sort of that length of time, obviously, you know what his situation is about his future. I know you can also talk about contracts, but was there enough time to kind of, the decisions about him have to be made before he'll be playing again? What kind of, where are we at with that, do you think? Or
I think my focus is just to help him get back fit as soon as possible. I mean, everyone knows the quality that he has, so that's not in question. It's more just helping him get fit, helping him get on the pitch, doing it the right way, and looking forward to seeing him play football, because we haven't seen him.
And with the time that you obviously the break, have you been able to, how much, obviously you haven't had your full squad available to you, but have you been able to use the break to your advantage in terms of putting things in place and just, obviously, because you didn't have a pre-season, and pre-seasons are sort of harder and harder to come by on this in football generally. So
yeah,
we were able to use that to get things done that you wouldn't have done otherwise in matches.
Yeah, we've used the time as best as we can. Like you say, in the first few days we had, I think, 4 players to work with. So that brings its can't prepare. It would have been ideal if we could play Bournemouth in a 5-a-side. That'd be good, but we can't. So we have to sort of work. We've used the young players. built the ideas, like I said, try to consolidate all the learning that happens in that really intense period, and make some more connections with the people at the club, because you forget that you're sort of into this massive, intense period and you're still getting to know everyone around the building. So we could do that. We had a week away together, so that helped that, I think, really well. So I think the feeling is really positive, but yeah, so we're looking forward to the game.
Dom.
Hi Graham.
Hi.
A bit of a random general one if possible. What did you find most interesting tactically about the World Cup and watching teams at the tournament? Was there anything that stood out for you that you thought was different or unusual?
I suppose the thing that stood out was the defensive strategies of the teams. I would say it was mostly relatively passive.
Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't too much of pressing or pressing high. It was a bit more of a drop off. So that was the thing tactically that instinctively I thought was.
Was that maybe born of the heat or something over there? Do you think, or do you think it might be underlying of a trend that might set in?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Good question. It could be a bit of everything, I suppose. But yeah, the heat plays a part. I suppose if you're going to coordinate any pressing, you'd argue you'd need some time to work on that. And obviously, with the lack of time that the international teams had, you have to select what you need to work with, I guess, and what you think is prioritised. What's the priority? And I suppose dropping off and defending that way is an easier way to do it, because you haven't got the time to make it any more progressive.
Thank you.
Okay, last one in the broadcast, Martin Tyler.
Hi Graham.
Hi Martin.
Compliments of the season to you.
Thank you.
It's a logistical question really. We know how difficult it is as a coach to manage the Christmas period anyway. Will you be able to put into practice, if there'd been no World Cup, what you'd have done over the next 2 weeks? Or will you have to change what you would have done, say, a year ago at Brighton with these fixtures because of the World Cup? Will you give players different time off, or are you going into a schedule now that actually doesn't take the World Cup into account at all? You've got to prepare as if there hadn't been one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, what we've done is we've given all the guys that have been in the World Cup some time off, so they've had a bit of a break, a bit of a holiday, a bit of time with their families. Obviously, it's not so easy to get the balance right. We're all learning because it's never happened before, you know. So we don't know how that's going to go. And I think you've got to constantly evaluate the players and assess, because you might get 2 or 3 months down the line and think, hang on a minute, we need to do something here just to refresh, because we don't know how that's going to look like in the future, long term. The effects of a World Cup, something so big, you know, when you're watching it, you realise how big it is. We all know that, but we were speaking before it, and it's the World Cup, and because we're in the middle of a Premier League pre-season, you know, Premier League season, it's like. But then you watch the World Cup final, and you think, wow, this is a massive event, and of course it is. So you don't know how that's going to play out long. So that's a bit of a constant assessment and evaluation. But now we're confident that the guys are where they are, and we can work and we can prepare normally to the games.
Okay.